Hello and welcome to our daily news. This is Salma Deeb and you're watching AUC TV. Former President Hosni Mubarak has been ordered back to prison after his return to the military hospital. The court ruled on Monday that Mubarak could no longer be held in prison on the charges related to the killing of protesters. His lawyer Farid al-Deeb successfully argued that he has spent maximum time in prison under temporary detention. A retrial will take place on May 11, replacing the April 13 trial, which collapsed after its presiding judge withdrew from the case. On Saturday, Judge Mustafa Abdullah withdrew from the new trial of former President Hosni Mubarak in a hearing that lasted seconds amongst angry civil society lawyers. The judge sent the case to the Court of Appeal, which will refer to the trial to a new circuit. Abdullah said he decided to refer the case to the Cairo's appeal court as he felt unease in reviewing the case. Mubarak remains in custody as he is also facing charges of corruption alongside his sons Ali and Kamal and businessman Hussein Salem. On AUC campus, former presidential candidate Hindin Sabahi came on Wednesday for a panel discussion concerning his early political life that led him to who he currently is, and discussed his vision and willpower to form a better Egypt. Sabahi was always a political activist who fought for his rights. Talking about his early life, Sabahi shared that the reason behind the patriotism was due to attending the Gamal Abdel Nasser School in Delta. He said that listening to Abdel Halim Hafiz as a child and being in school choir singing nationalistic songs made his love and passion for Egypt grow. Sabahi talked about his early political life and achievements to guide the young adults on campus who still have hope in reaching a democratic life, and also to raise their political awareness.
إن مصر تبقى كبيرة عظيمة عادلة منصفة بتقود أمتها العربية حتى الاستعمار الفقراء فيها بياخدوا حقهم الراكعين بينهضوا هذا الحلم الجميل بالعدل والقوة المعتمدة على الذات أعتقد إنه هو اللي خلاني من وقت طويل جدا وحتى الآن فخور بإني بنتسب.
Sabahi mentioned his obstacles fighting freedom ever since his college years, saying that by persistent protesting, he was able to overcome most unjust authorities. In Cairo University, Sabahi and his college mates formed a Nasiri Club, which is a club that followed the Gamal Abdel Nasser ruling, and soon enough the club spread all over campus. Sabahi ran for the student union and was faced with barriers from the admissions to disqualify him due to his political views. But Sabahi fought back and won the elections. Sabahi discussed our current political situation, saying that President Mohamed Morsi failed at providing a better Egypt. He said that Morsi's mistake was that he failed in making a great use of the revolution to build a better country for its people. He said Morsi was supposed to unite our citizens, but instead he divided them.
وأجملنا ماتوا عشان الحرية النظام الديمقراطي. هل تعتقدوا إن اللي أنتوا عايشين فيه في مصر الآن نظام ديمقراطي؟ أنا رأيي لا. إحنا عايشين في ظل جماعة تريد أن تستولي على السلطة. استفراد واستحواذ وفي المقابل إقصاء وتهميش وإبعاد مش للشعب المصري بس رغم إن الكل له حقوق في المشاركة حتى لشركاء الميدان أصحاب الفضل في إن الدكتور محمد مرسي بقى رئيس.
Sabahi said that we were back to hearing about all the oppressed activists in prison and all the martyrs and people suffering for freedom. We are currently the furthest thing from democracy, and in order to overcome this phase, we need either civil disobedience or fair elections. Still in Egypt, Prime Minister Hisham Andil was sentenced to 1 year in jail in absentia for failing to enforce a judiciary verdict to nationalize Tanta Flax Company. On Wednesday, Kandil was also ordered to leave his post by Egypt's Do'i court and pay a 2,000 LE fine. However, according to Al-Ahram online, the law that the rulings issued in absentia against state officials are symbolic, as officials can pay the fine and still challenge the ruling. The issue started when workers at the Flex company filed a complaint stating that the Prime Minister did not carry out the judicial sentence issued in 2011, refusing to privatize the company. In response, Cabinet spokesperson Ala El-Hadidi described the ruling as partial in a statement to Al Ahram Online on Wednesday, stating that the verdict will be appealed after they get acquainted with its reasons that have not been written in detail. According to the verdict, the government has to revoke its contract of selling the company to a Saudi businessman and restore its ownership to the state. In the Middle East, Israel's Red Sea resort of Eilat was hit by 2 rockets on Wednesday, but there was no sign of damage or injury.
A number of explosions were heard in the Eilat region. Immediately, our bomb disposal experts of the Israeli police searched the different areas. We found 2 rocket sites where there's damage that has been caused without any injuries, and we've heightened security in the Eilat region.
A Salafi Islamic militant group, Majlis Shura al-Mujahideen of Jerusalem, Palestine claimed responsibility in a statement on its website. The statement said the attack was in retaliation for what it described as the Israeli army's attack on protesters demonstrating over the deaths of Palestinian prisoners. The militant group said it had targeted Eilat with 2 Grad missiles and then withdrawn safely. The Egyptian presidency stressed that Egypt rejects any attack against any country. The Egyptian military said it was still checking the source of the rocket fire, but nothing is confirmed yet. Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discussed serious civil war in meetings with British Prime Minister David Cameron and Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper while in London on Wednesday. In an interview with BBC News, Netanyahu said that Israel is prepared to defend itself if Syrian President Bashar Assad's chemical weapons and anti-aircraft weapons fall into the wrong hands. Netanyahu warned these weapons could change the balance of power in the Middle East, and stressed that it is not just in Israel's interest to stop these weapons from getting into the wrong hands, but it's in other countries' interests as well. Despite this, Netanyahu echoed past statements that Israel doesn't seek to interfere in the Syrian civil war. Moving to Syria. In a TV interview with the government-run Al-Akhbariya channel, Syria's President Bashar al-Assad accused the West of backing al-Qaeda in the country's civil war. He warned on Wednesday that the West will pay a price in the heart of Europe and the United States.
هذا الغرب لا يعرف أو ربما يعرف ولا يعي الآن بأن هذا الإرهاب سيعود إليه في أوروبا، وبدأت الصحافة الغربية تتحدث عن مخاطر عودة هؤلاء، ولكنها حقيقة. كما مولوا القاعدة في أفغانستان في بداياتها ودفعوا الثمن غاليا لاحقا، الآن يدعمونها في سوريا وفي ليبيا وفي أماكن أخرى، وسوف يدفعون الثمن لاحقا في قلب أوروبا وفي قلب الولايات المتحدة.
In the hour-long interview, Assad also criticized Jordan and accused it of allowing thousands of fighters to enter Syria across its borders.
نتمنى من بعض المسؤولين الأردنيين الذين لا يعون خطورة الوضع في سوريا وما يعني بالنسبة للأردن كما يعني بالنسبة للدول الأخرى أن يكونوا أكثر وعيا في تقدير هذا الشيء، لأن الحريق لن يتوقف عند حدودنا، والكل يعلم بأن الأردن معرض كما هي سوريا.
Jordan has received over 500,000 Syrian refugees over the past year. On the other hand, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel told Congress on Wednesday that the Pentagon is sending about 200 soldiers from a U.S. Army headquarters to Jordan. They are sent to contain violence along the Syrian border and plan for any operations needed to ensure the safety in the case of chemical weapons used in Syria. On an international scale, West Fertilizers Company plant has exploded at the state of Texas, causing 100 injuries and damaging dozens of nearby buildings and houses. This was the second explosion in the United States following the Boston bombing. The explosion on Wednesday night sent a wave of fire through the air to 2 rows of homes nearby. The factory has damaged 50 to 75 homes, as well as an apartment building with roughly 50 units near the site. The number of deaths is not yet recognized, but a spokesofficial from Texas Department confirmed there will be many. The country sheriff Parnell McNamara has described the scene as a war zone. Among the damaged buildings is West Rest Haven Nursing Home, and one of the residents, William Bursch, talked about how they knew about the explosion.
Well, actually, we were at the house and we felt it rock. We were about 4 miles away.
The authorities are planning to go door to door and clean the entire area for survivors. Due to the threat of toxic emissions and additional explosions, rejudying the Boston bombing that killed 3 people and injured 176. The investigation is still going to find out who is behind it. Back to campus. The 210 typography design students were selling local goods in carts in front of the plaza on Wednesday. The students pulled off a tremendous show, causing a lot of students to stop and check out their booths. The purpose of selling these goods was to attack the customers by their typography and see how many people will actually buy the goods. Students were selling thermos, hibiscus, and watermelon juice, strawberry-covered chocolates, apple dipped in caramel sauce, and a lot of other goods. Students Nada Ahmed introduced the purpose of the project as she mentioned clearly the strategy of each student.
For people to see the typography and how many customers are gonna come and how many بتاع I'm gonna sell, and like that's the whole purpose of the project. And like my friends are doing different things like juice and strawberries with chocolate, different things, and that's it.
I went to Khan al-Khalili and searched in the streets. I met the guy who sells them and I asked him where did he get it, and I kept searching and actually and then I found the guy and I got it.
Hannah Wahbi said that the process was fun but not easy because they had to go 3 or 4 times to Khan al-Khalili to make sure everything was going according to plan. AEC students had a fun positive opinions.
I like the new ideas or what they're doing because it's very innovative and it never happened throughout my college years.
This is very creative. I think it would be better if it was for free and donations.
ترمس اون كامبس حاجه كرييتيف ما شفتهاش قبل كده، طعمه حلو كمان، بس هو مشكلته انه هيوسخ الدنيا شويه، بس هيبقى حاجه حلوه يعني لو حاجات كرييتيف زي كده انتشرت كتير في الجامعه.
On a regional level, a group of protesters in Bahrain are blocking the roads during clashes with security forces in an attempt to cancel Formula One. The demonstrations on Thursday showed that protesters are not going to stop unless the race is cancelled. One of the opposition stated that they are not against the race, but the government is disregarding their demands, which are democracy, respect of human rights, and an elected government. On the other hand, government spokeswoman Samira Rajab said that Bahrain is ready to host Formula One on Friday 19th and there are no security issues. For the government and its supporters, hosting the Formula One race demonstrates the kingdom is stable. From the opposition, the race is little more than an attempt to conceal what they say is the ugly truth of daily life in the country. Last year's race did go ahead, but under a heightened security and ongoing tension far removed from the celebratory mood that Formula One and Bahrain had enjoyed before the 2011 uprising. On a lighter note, Confectionery College school students have made the world's longest roll cake. The Japanese students made the master cake in Tokyo on Wednesday. Some 90 pastries and students made a 130.68 meters long roll cake using 54 kilograms of flour, 43 kilograms of sugar, and 2,682 eggs. It was certificated as the world's longest roll cake by Guinness Records, beating the previous record of 115.09 meters. Thank you for watching. See you next time.